Thanks. Thanks everyone for joining. And we know that we've raised the bar and expectations for this session quite a bit. And no, the message is quite clear. We are here to deliver on those promises. So it will be a super dense, super fast-paced session where we made deliberate efforts to remove things that were non-essential. And to be honest, there are a lot of things, that create a distance between us, create a distance in the way we communicate. And today, what we'll try to do actually is to, I'm not sure if we are naive or bold with that, but to be open to maybe speak about things that we are not comfortable yet putting in an official slide or running demos live that might fail, and even sharing not only the outcome, the glamorous output of what our partners, customers did with Code Agent, but also the journey to that point. So this is the setup for today. And as agenda, just to quickly go over that, we'll start with an introduction for UiPath Coded Agents. And then Alex will dive into the vision and the roadmap for coded agents for what's to come. Then we'll have a demo, which will be the golden scenario for payment agents, and another one that would be super interesting with the latest and greatest with LlamaIndex, with a travel agent. And we'll end with two demos from our partner customers, Cato Networks and Silamir, and we'll open for some questions at the end, but you can also we can also have some questions in the meantime. So without further ado, let's start with one announcement. And I think that would be interesting for all of you. Let me share that. So today we go live with a challenge, with a specialist coded agent challenge to build it with UiPath SDK, with LlamaIndex or LangChain. So it starts today. We keep it open for 1 month, and we have quite a few prizes that we and would like to see what you will build. We are super eager to see that. And this is open now. You can maybe take a screenshot or take the link from here and submit and start building something as part of the challenge. That would be now open. Good. So we'll keep this available also at the end of the session, the link. So don't worry, we'll share this again, and we'll share after the session as well. Okay, now that we have this, let's start with just having the overall picture at what are UiPath coded agents. And we are on a mission here. So the mission is to demystify coded agents and to make the very clear point that the coded agents are much more approachable than you might think, and that they are supercharged with a level of control and flexibility that we believe that it really makes a difference in how we deliver on this overall agentic automation promise. So let's start with the demystifying part. So we do know that agents are just a fancier name for contextualized LM calls, that is for reasoning, and tool calls for taking reliable, predictable actions. And coded agents are agents that are authored in code, and UiPath coded agents, simply put, are code that is fully integrated as an agent process within UiPath. Now, in practice, not to oversimplify, there are agents that are developed in a framework like LangChain or LlamaIndex, and they are integrated within UiPath using the UiPath SDK. To access things like assets, buckets, context running, LM calls. And we use a command line interface to pack and publish, to take that code and to make it UiPath native such that it becomes fully governed and secure within the UiPath platform. And with this as an introduction, I will hand it to Alex.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Okay, so on the first part, I want to talk to you briefly about our vision and roadmap for coded agents. starting with the vision, obviously. So as you know, we have the great push towards agentic automations, which means we see agents and AI becoming one of the first-class citizens throughout your automation ecosystem. Now, how do we tackle this from a vision perspective as UiPath? You may have heard this up until now. We want to be the Switzerland of agents and automation. Why and what does that mean? You've probably seen in the past 1.5 years, the pace of innovation in the LLM space has been unprecedented. Unprecedented in terms of how often new models come out, how many vendors enter this game of new models, and how fast models get iterated on and how fast they improve. This may very well mean that if we're building some agent on a model that's, say, 3 to 4 months old, it might very soon become outdated and will require tuning with the new capabilities that are being made available. And this stands true for LLMs and for LLM providers, but this also stands true for frameworks, right? We've seen in the past 6 months, all of the major cloud providers having built and published their own frameworks, apart from the already established one, which we have integrated. And we do expect that in the coming months, additional agent building frameworks will get published. We expect here to stay in tune with the community, see which ones gain the right traction, and then make sure that those are being integrated and then made available to you via UiPath. In brief, the vision means the following. We want to be able to be LLM agnostic and allow you to use LLMs through us, LLMs through self-hosting, LLMs directly, so that any LLM innovation is something you can take advantage of. We want to also be multi-framework or framework agnostic. That means we are constantly on the lookout for the frameworks that seem to dominate in the market and plan to integrate them into our ecosystem. As you know, from a programming language perspective, we also work in two directions. We want to support both low code and coded agents. And for coded agent, it seems that the Python programming language is the one that's winning at this point. So that's why the SDKs we build initially are focused on Python, but we're also planning to add JavaScript related SDKs here, as that seems to be the language coming right after in terms of implementation adoption. We also want to fully integrate coding agents. So that means your Copilot or your Gemini in VS Code. That means Autopilot for low-code agents. So whenever you want to fast-track your implementation, you can rely on these to basically already build some items from you to get started faster for your use case, like prompt to code. Even more than that, we want to have a dedicated interface that will also allow you to prompt for coded agent coding. That will allow you to simply input your use case, have AI take care of building a coded agent that you then will review and hopefully add it to the point of bringing it to production. Now, our unique proposition comes with orchestration. Orchestration has now a twofold meaning, right? UiPath's orchestration refers both to Maestro, related to process orchestration and how agents can be bundled into your end-to-end ecosystem. But in addition to that, also to how you deploy and manage and operationalize your agents, which we are addressing via UiPath Orchestrator, and want to blend agents into the already existing flows that you know from past automation implementations without, well, reinventing the wheel for them. And we want to be able to blend your integrated development environment experience, so your IDE of choice, VS Code, and everything that you can do there with our ecosystem, so that you can do as much as possible from your IDE going forward, mainly via CLI options that we offer, but in the future via plugins and dedicated visualizations of your entire UiPath project in your IDE. Now on related to the immediate roadmap, right? This was basically the vision part, but related to the immediate roadmap, we have a lot of goodies coming up. You know, next week we'll have our Fusion conference in the US, where we'll announce many of these. So we'll basically support integration service activities in MCP. We will integrate coded agents in Studio Web in order to be able to perform evals, backend publish, run and debug project things. We'll have a dedicated coded eval part in your IDE project for coded agents so that you can run them directly from your IDE, similar to test cases. We plan on bringing coded agents immediately to Automation Suite to be able to use them even in on-prem environments. And you'll see in the demos later our MCP implementation, which is also planned to go GA next month, together with support in Studio Web for low-code agents and fully included in solutions. Right after that, what we have already in the works is conversational support for coded agents. And the next protocol aside MCP that has been gaining traction, which is agent-to-agent, the agent-to-agent protocol from Google, and the coverage of that one within our ecosystem so that multi-agent systems can work better together. On top of that, we plan to be able to offer also a path to convert low-code agent to coded agent in case you start with low-code and at some point you want to add in the complexity of coded agents but don't want to lose any work performed to that point. Okay, I hope this action-packed roadmap gives you a initial impression of everything that we are having going on at this point. And I would hand it over to the demo part of the session to actually see what you can do today in action. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Alex. I somehow knew that we have all this coming, but once you mentioned them, and I heard it out loud, like it's even more than that. Maybe I should share the entire screen. Let me try that. Let me know if it works. Okay, perfect. Good. So my proposal here would be to start with an example that is way beyond the sample. It's something that would provide real value in real world, that would take critical decision. And something like that would be an autonomous payment agent, someone that would abstract all the complexity of taking an unstructured input, like requesting a refund by a user, like needing an invoice, or even someone that would request transferring money and would grant that and would make the transactions up until the end, or even deny the access if it's not legit. So for that, let's just start it. In the interest of time, I will start this one, but the way this would look like would be maybe an email that would originate. And the email would say, dear team, your product is so cool, and now everyone in the company wants it. So I have no choice but to order 7 more of this product. This is totally unstructured data that's coming our way. And the agent should absorb all the complexity, verifying it and handling the transaction, and providing a reliable output for this. Now, while this runs, and I will see the execution at the end, what we want to do today is give a glimpse in what is the journey to build such an agent. So let's go to the IDE. And in the IDE, we will start with setting the environment, taking all the dependencies, maybe checking if we do have the right version. And once we have that, and we are good to initialize the project. And you see that this is the first UiPath command line that we are executing, which would generate these files, .env, a mermaid diagram, a UiPath.json specifying the input and output. We can even now see the diagram for this agent. And maybe now we can see if we have anything in the environment, which we don't. So then you should authenticate within UiPath. And that can be done with one simple command, and we are done. Once it executes, then we can check again the environment, and you see that I have populated all the UiPath information within my coding environment. Obviously, maybe I need some other keys like OpenAI keys, and I can add those. And now I can verify if I do, in fact, have those keys available, and I do, and I intentionally hide them for this case. Now, before we take these and deploy to production, one natural step that we'd like to do is have an input, and I copy the same input that you've seen before and run it locally. Before it comes to production, I want in my environment to run it, test it, see if I'm comfortable or if it provides the desired output, or maybe even more important than that it does not provide the undesired output. While this executes, maybe I want to have a deeper dive in my coding experience, looking at traces. And because I do know that this diagram has multiple steps, I can deep dive into a few of them, like triage email, or I can see what tools are being called and what output is being collected, to see what tokens are being consumed while I'm doing that. I can see the entire history of an execution. If I'm going back to my execution while executes, let me do this while I'm waiting for it to execute. Let's remember that the output that it produces, and we'll look at the output in a minute, is reliable. So for that reason, I would say I think we are fine. We can increase the version. Let's see the output. And you can see now that it lists the customers here, and then it will list the payment link. Now I can pack and publish this one, so it increases the version automatically. Pack with UiPath Pack, so that it makes it a native package for UiPath platform. And finally, obviously, just publish the package to the UiPath platform. Let's go now back here in the packages, in the agents. Now, if I refresh this, you can see that 10 seconds ago, a new package was published. I look at the version 14, which is exactly the version that I created here. Now, once I've done that, I can run this version of the agent. Let's see how things go here. So it seems that this execution was completed. More than that, I can even see the same graph. So the traces in UiPath, I can see the same Morvan diagram, and I can dive deep into any aspect that I want to check here. More than that, I can even integrate it with Studio Web, such that I have a project key, and then I'm pushing this version of the code to Studio Web. So I had to re-authenticate before that. But you can see it here in Studio Web, the same project, the same agent being part of a solution, part of Studio. Now with that, let's see the outcome. And I will open this one. Let's see if I get the output here. Let's see if it collected the output. Perfect. Okay, and the output would be here. Let me put details. Yeah. So yeah, dear Eusebiu, thanks for contacting us. This is the payment link. And if I go to the payment link, I do have one that is valid. So I order 7 products of this type. If I go to see what is this product, which was Code Editor Plus, which is this one, 7 of this would account for this sum, and I can go ahead and complete the payment. And with this autonomous agent absorb all this complexity from understanding an unstructured input, doing validations, handling the transaction, figuring out the output, up until sending the confirmation to the end user. And with this one, I will hand it to Adrian.
Thank you. That was inspiring. Thank you, Eusebiu. I will share my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Right, before I deep dive into the travel agent built in LlamaIndex, I'm going to do a quick run through of the LlamaIndex SDK, half a minute, no more, which is basically an open source SDK within a public repo. It's an extension of our Python SDK, where we have some quick getting started tips of how you can create a project, how you can initialize it, what you need to do to authenticate it, and so on. But also containing the likes of using our LLM gateway, using our context grounding, which is something that you'll see in my example as well, along with integrating Action Center, human-in-the-loop flows, and so on. But let's not forget the other services, the likes of assets, buckets, connections, and so on, but queues. All right. Moving on to the travel helper agent. This is one of our samples that we have within our LlamaIndex repo. This agent basically is a RAG example, which is retrieval augmented generation, and is using our own context grounding. What I've done before, so we don't have to spend a bit of the time now, I went into our storage bucket and created 2 buckets. One of them is with company policies, the other is with personal preferences. I fed the files. The files look something like this, where you have general policies, booking guidelines, some expenses, and then my own personal preferences of how I want to travel and the hotels I prefer, and if I prefer it with breakfast and so on. And once the buckets are created, I then fed them to 2 different indexes. Now, these indexes are used by the agent. And oh, by the way, I'm also using our LLM gateway here directly with a given model, which makes it easy for me because it can also use the AI trust layer UiPath offers. What I then do is specify what indexes to use and what. The agent takes a user query of a business trip, of an upcoming business trip. It basically verifies that the data should be according to the RAG indexes. Thus, it initializes 2 of them, the company policies one and the preferences one. It breaks down the initial query into multiple sub-questions, and then assigns those sub-questions to React agents to address each sub-question. Once it has each sub-question answered, it will then put together the final answer, which is here. So it summarizes them and provides an output as a text. Now, similar to the example we've seen with the LlamaIndex, it's easy for me to initially manage this here, but I can also pack and publish it within UiPath. I've done this yesterday, but I will do another quick one now. UiPath pack basically packs the agent in a NuGet package, so I'll be able to see it also here under the UiPath folder. Sorry, this one. With the new version, 0.3. And then once I do UiPath publish, it will ask me which tenant feed I want to, whether I wanted to deploy it on the tenant feed or on the personal workspace feed. In this example, we'll go to personal workspace feed, and it was successfully deployed 4 seconds ago. Now, once it's in my feed, I can easily go to processes. It was deployed. I can update it to the latest version and then start the job. Starting a job does require an input. I could say travel to New York, 20th, 30th. And yeah, add the data to the index and have the job running. It takes about 2 minutes for it to run. But just to show you a previous example, we also have included everything trace related. You have a end-to-end view of what the agent did, along with terminal-like logs. Now, this is not the way a business user should actually consume data such as this. So I actually want to skip through another demo. What you see here on the left is a coded app. This is something new for us. And it's a proposal of, for example, of how you should interact with an agent. This was the travel details I provided in this example before with adding index. This was the output, but it's much better presented, more user-friendly. Now, what is this, you ask? It's our new TypeScript SDK. Our new TypeScript SDK, basically in a similar manner to what you've seen in Python SDKs, it can take TypeScript, back and publish it, and you will see that as an app, just like all the other apps. Now, this is very powerful as well. And what I also want to show you is that similar to what the Python SDK has to offer, besides the getting started steps and authentication, the team also added services directly within the SDK that you can leverage from UiPath, the likes of assets, buckets, entities, Maestro processes directly here. Processes is what I've used because agents are processes in UiPath, queues, and so on. Now, this is just a beginning. It is a public repo as well. But it's also available in NPM. Now, this was deployed a while ago. You also see what I've built on the right. What I've built on the right is basically all this app. It's all vibe coded, right? It's fairly easy to do. There's a bunch of examples that you can either take into consideration, but also AI does fairly well in building front ends. I've customized it quite a lot. Maybe we can add one more quick feature. Say, add a high contrast mode. And it will vibe code and basically tell me what it added where. This app basically is all a TypeScript app. It has the style vibe coded as well, along with the logic. The logic is fairly simple. I can select what agent to run. In my case, the travel helper agent is the only one. I provide the travel details, and it waits for the answer to be displayed. Now, while it does a bit of the style coding, I can also show you just as easily how quick it finished. Excellent. We're just gonna keep all. I could show you just as easily how it is to pack and publish this in UiPath. So here we have to first register the app. What register does is it basically generates an app URL. It becomes active after deployment only, but you need to do that beforehand. So let's say we'll give it Travel App 35 as a name, and this automatically saves the URL in the .env file that we have. Now it's registered. We need to do build. So npm build. Once the build is completed, we can already pack it. And we need to pack it to a distinct folder. So something like this with a new name. We're going to go ahead and write the version as 1. And now it's already packed. Packing it, similar to what I've shown you before, adds it to the UiPath folder as a NuGet package. Once I provide the description, actually. Okay, it's here. And once that is done, I could go ahead and publish it. I select the app I want to publish, and it should be here. Here it is. Now, in the deep dives, if I go to apps, just as easily I can deploy it. Say app 35. deploy it, and it will give me the link to access the app. Once I do that, it has the high contrast mode we've asked for, as opposed to this one that only has one. That was it. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the demo.
Excellent. Thanks, Adi. I like it one. Now let me just introduce you to Daniela, who is the RPA and agentic lead at Cato Networks, who is a cybersecurity company. And Daniela will showcase, the road to having coded agents in production. And our team was part of this journey. But we'll have to be honest, it started with the idea that we will support her along the way, but we ended up with the UiPath team learning more from this experience. And what I can say is that I'm 100% sure that Daniela made our product better. So I'm absolutely sure of that. So Daniela, please go ahead.
Okay, so first, thank you for the kind words. Really appreciate it. And, I think it's been a pleasure working with you guys. And honestly, like I do feel part of UiPath sometimes. That's very cool. So I'm just gonna dig into the case. I'm gonna talk shortly about the use case just to have like a slight understanding and on what we've done here at Cato, and a bit about myself just to connect the dots. So my name is Daniela. I come for like about 7-8 years experience with UiPath, and I've been working mostly with the UiPath platform. And just to say that meaning that I don't have a very wide coding background. I did some Python scripting before, but mostly worked with UiPath through my career. So for the case itself, what we try to do is basically to find a solution for ticket classification within the company. We've been working with Zendesk, which is our product for customers to basically open tickets for Cato and to say that something is wrong with the product, etc. And eventually, when the ticket closes, we need to classify the ticket. Now that means that we might have the ticket open for days. We might have like, I don't know, tens of comments within the ticket with different stuff going on through the ticket and through the ticket lifecycle. And that would be a very complicated case to classify, most probably. And the thing is that the fact that the ticket goes like through different people, through different hands, and eventually you need to understand the case to have a good classification. And this classification is something that our analysts are using, and the decisions are made based on the cases because it gives us the perspective of how many bugs we had within the ticket, how many knowledge-based questions we had within the ticket, how many configuration we had within the ticket. And that would mean that project that will take place within the company will be based on those classifications. So that just to put how important this small feature is. And I think that, like, as most of you probably familiar with us, when you start to develop an RPA project, you mostly understand that there's like a lot of issues with the process as it is. And that's what happened to us in the beginning. We had like the categories for the classification, and eventually we understood that this is not working, that the classification is not correct for a very, very long time. And we had to kind of go back and to start and to understand the business case. After we've done this, and we had like, I did kind of reverse engineering of taking half a year of tickets and to cluster the case and to understand what are categories. And we started working on this case and to better understand the business case itself. And in parallel, we had Coded Agent coming out. So I started using the Coded Agent platform and to combine it all together. And as I said in the beginning, for the fact that I don't have a lot of coding experience, so I started using a lot of the AI tools that we have out there. I started using Cursor, I started using Claude Code, and I will basically show you the code itself, just to give you a glimpse of how it works and how I can work with vibe coding to build those solutions. So I did just like a short demonstration of how it works. And as I said, I don't have a lot of coding experience, so I just ran it before because it takes a bit of time, and I asked the Cloud Code to basically just code review my code, so that I will be able to understand what do I need to change, what do I need to do. And that's how I work basically with Cloud Code. That's how I work with vibe coding. I start with planning the project, I ask him to build the code, and I change it along the way. And you can see that it gives me like a very structured and understandable solution of what I need to do with my code at this point. So let's say that if you want to start working with the coded agent, I do believe that nowadays you don't need to have a very wide experience of coding, and you can just like dig in and start doing the job. And I just wanted to show a bit of the code. So as Sabi and Adrian showed before, I've been using the UiPath solution. So you can see that basically I've been connecting the LangGraph. You can see the whole structured solution of UiPath, and you can see how many versions I had along the way, because I had to change a lot of things. I had to fine tune it. And I think that also the UiPath solution also changed slightly along the way, and we changed a lot of things together. So you can basically see the graph, and I can slightly visualize it for you. And it looks like this within the mermaid diagram. And I think that the most important thing here was probably the business case and to understand how to do the classifications. So I had a very, very, very long prompt to really put together all the requirements that the business need for the classification, the categories that we have within the process and everything around it. It was kind of like very rough to fine tune the prompt, but also something that we did like together along with the business. And I think that for me, eventually, the biggest advantage here is the fact that along with the platform and the ease of how I can deploy the solution into UiPath, I think that also like the visualization of things, and this is, let's say, just like, sorry for that. I can show you that like I have everything structured in my queues. What I'm doing when I'm running the process is that basically I just take one ticket from Zendesk. I have like the whole information from the ticket itself. I analyze it within UiPath to understand if I even need to run an agent, because I have some business rules that will sometimes just will have kind of like strict classification for it. And I'm again using the classic UiPath queue system, and you can see that I have everything outputted into here. And that's very cool for me, because from here I can also like put it in another platform where our business analysts are able to see all of this output, and this is a very, very valuable information for them. And we can also see like the usage of the AI for every ticket and how much it would cost me to just run one ticket of this, which is also eventually very important to understand. And as we saw the mermaid diagram within the Python code, so we can see the same thing here as well. And again, as we've seen also before, so we can see like the whole, sorry. So through the trace, we can see the whole life cycle of the process. So you can see the whole graph. So you see the land graph, and again, the whole life cycle that goes through it, same as you can see in the diagram that I have built here. And the whole flow of the process basically is here for me within the trace. And yeah, I think that was like about it. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Daniela. And as we know that on your market, sometimes it feels like you're a part of UiPath. It is the same on our side. We feel the same. And thanks for showcasing this. And I think this was a real talk. Like, what would one see if we're sitting near you and you would share the experience of putting these coded agents into production? That is great. Now,
Yeah,
with
and
the
just want to
final,
say that like
yeah, sure.
one thing, and obviously if like someone has questions, feel free to add me on LinkedIn, and really feel free to reach out. I will gladly help. And yeah.
Great, appreciate that. Cool. So with that, we will move on to the last demo for today. And Guillaume, if you want to present the team, but I just wanted to say something. So it will be Guillaume, Imad, and the P. I will present. They were among the first one to adopt code agents while we were still in private preview, and they were super full speed, full speed, implementing not one but multiple scenarios. So I'm really curious which one you will showcase.
Okay, hello everyone. So the mic is on Imad's Imad computer, but you can see me talking from another webcam. So hello everyone. We are very pleased to be here today, and thank you very much for the invite. So just a very quick introduction on Silamir, who we are. So we are a consulting and technology group which was founded in 2011. And we are now more than 700 consultants, mostly based in Europe and North Africa, and also in Poland. So basically what we do is bridging technology and transformation consulting in order to drive topics such as process intelligence, process excellence, and automation at scale. So that's how we got in touch with the agentic world from scratch. And we are super proud to work with our partner UiPath, amazing team, in order to develop agentic use cases for our clients. So without further ado, I will give the floor to Bertie, who will present you briefly our HR onboarding agent before Imad shows a quick demo.
Yes, so as Ian was saying, I'm going to present you our HR onboarding agent built with UiPath along with Imad. So as you know, the onboarding process typically involves a lot of repetitive tasks, both across HR and IT teams, from the contract preparation, document validation, to the system provisioning and equipment assignment. And in most organizations, this coordination is still slow, manual, and prone to a lot of errors. So the approach we did was really to design an autonomous agent that takes over the entire process end to end. So the trigger is quite simple. When a candidate statute change in the tracking file, the UiPath Orchestrator takes over. And from there, the agent would generate contracts, create the HR profile, sends the onboarding email, and assign all the IT equipment. So basically, every step is automated and monitored and fully auditable. So we can jump into the demo.
Yeah. Hello everyone. So I'm going to present the onboarding use case, and I will focus on the demo part. For this, I will play a video. I will share it with you. Okay. Okay. First, we provide the HR teams and the manager with an Excel file. It contains all the personal information necessary to start the process. Each time a candidate is accepted, the manager adds a new line, and we add a process status column to know if the candidate has already been processed or not. As soon as a line appears, it's injected into a queue to process several candidates at once. The process starts, and for each candidate in the queue, we extract the data from the Excel files, last name, first name, statue, and so on. And for example, here for Noura El Naimi, we have a lot of information like first name, last name, and so on. Once the data is extracted, an agent automatically generates the letter of commitment lock based on the candidate nationality, European or not European. Like we can see, the lock includes a body of an email summarizing the documents to be sent back, and an attached PDF formalizing the offer and the term of employment. So it's we have the prices and so on. Once this is done, the candidate must then sign the lock, like we can see there. And once this is done, the document validates the hiring intention, and he prepares for the creation of the contract all his documents. For example, there we have the passport of the candidate. It can be the ID card and all the necessary document. He gathers all these documents on a mail and he sends back the email with the signed lock and with all the necessary documents. At this stage, the process is managed by a LangGraph agent. We used the UiPath SDK, Python, and the LlamaIndex SDK, sorry. And it receives the candidate information, checks the nationality with the language model. We use the GPT-4o mini, sorry. And he selects the right email template, generates the log PDF and send it by email. All of that is done by the agent. This makes the workflow dynamic, automated, and reliable. Once all of that is done, the robot then checks the conformity of each document. It has to be a reliable passport, and we checks all the documents. We extract the information and we ensure that the lock is properly signed. From this validated document, we extract the information we need, and this data feeds into our CRM tools, Boom Manager. And like we can see, when a candidate is accepted, we create a resource in Boom Manager. The robot opens the site, logs in, performs the necessary clicks, and integrates all the information from the site. All of that is made automatically, and with the same information, the contract is created automatically. For example, we see that there we have all the previous information that are rated into the contract. We check that the contract is good, and we send it to the candidate. The candidate reads the contract. He signed also the contract. There he accepted the contract, so we have a new employee in our company. Once he accepts, he sent back obviously the contract, so we can receive it. And as soon as a compliant signature is detected, a welcome email will be automatically sent. So we check the mail, the signature, and we can send the mail. Like we will see, we will refresh the page, and we wait 2 seconds. And bienvenue chez Sylamir Group. Welcome at Sylamir Group. We have a new employee, Noura Al-Naimi, is accepted in our company. In parallel, a second Excel file serves as a PC inventory. Here you can find all the characteristics of our PC, some of our PCs, such as the model, the RAM, the operating system, the CPU, and the GPU. The Excel files also let us know if a PC is available or not. We can see here, just this one is not available. And an agent will manage the stock according to internal policies. The agent will assign the most suitable PC to the candidate and update the inventory. For example, they will assign a PC with more GPU to an IA consultant. We will see that in the process. For example, there. For this candidate, the agent chooses the Dell XPS 15 PC, and we see that he is available, and he will attribute in success. And if we check the inventory a little bit further, we can see that the PC is not available anymore. This allocation is also managed by another LangGraph agent. It reads the role and status of the candidate, compares with the inventory, and chooses the best available PC based on business rules. Once he chooses an available PC, he updates the inventory automatically to avoid double assignment. And this is that for this demo. And thanks to this automated chain, we cover the entire onboarding cycle: offer, document collection, signature, CRM creation, welcome email, and hardware allocation, all while relieving the HR and IT teams. and Bertie will conclude this presentation. So I will. Okay.
Yes. So as we have seen, the process is completed in minutes and with no manual inputs. It really eliminates the transcription errors, ensures also equipment and access are ready on time, and it also gives HR teams like bandwidth for higher value activities. So in production, this has translated into 5 to 8% productivity gains on HR FTEs, and also stronger compliance and a consistent candidate experience from day one. So overall, this HR onboarding agent is not just an RPA script, but really an autonomous UiPath app. So really combining orchestration, system integration, and also monitoring to deliver measurable business value. So thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Perfect. Thanks, Bertie, and the team, and thanks everyone. I really do hope that this was a valuable session, and it was worth spending the time on this. Then maybe I will take the chance to show again the challenge, and for Samir, for us, or for Daniela, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions, or even in the chat, feel free to do that. In the meantime, let me share again the QR code on the screen where you can join the challenge.
Thank you all for sticking with us, and thank you all for the demos. They were amazing, and yeah, we really want to make this with more life from everybody. So feel free to ask your questions and mute yourselves. Seems like there are no questions.
If there are no questions, we're really looking forward for you to take part in the challenge, but definitely look forward to see what you guys will be building with UiPath coded agents. And we want to reiterate the commitment we have towards developer tooling. And as you've seen also in Adrian's demo, this goes past just backend automation, as we also want to offer front-end specific toolings so that we have a full stack platform also on the coded side, aside, well, all the RPA and low code goodies that you know in the UiPath ecosystem.
Okay. So I left again in the chat the link to the challenge. I'm also taking a chance to invite you to the next DevDives, the October DevDives, Unlocking Enterprise Data with UiPath Data Fabric. And I'm gonna leave the links for each time zone for all of you. And I want to take a chance to thank again our speakers and everybody else who joined, who shared the demo, who took the time to be with us today. And we hope to see you soon and see you in the challenge.
Thank you.